Hello and welcome to the SML podcast. This is SML Total Access. I don't care what they say. This is the best podcast on the SML network. What do you think? ZZ the Great, my co-host. What's your thoughts?
Hey, what's going on, Prime? Yes, this is Total Access, the best show on the SML, and I think on any platform on CMS
Yes.
football right now, man. We the bee's knees, man. Don't let them tell you nothing different.
Yeah, it is what it is. We're the best. It's like Tom Brady's the GOAT. We're the best. Let's go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm fired up. Let's get right into
Yes.
it with I was thinking, I seen in chat the other day, Meats was kind of poking around at some people, particularly Field General, I think, and it had me thinking of this topic. Some players have gone like forever without winning a title. Like Fields won one season two, I think it
Yeah.
was. Lawyer
Yes.
Killer has
Yes.
he won one a while ago, and even Haas is now kind of in that limbo state almost. What do you think about that? Are they kind of like you hear the forever champion thing? Do they need to win more, or are those championships
Nah,
kind of
well,
fade?
well, in all honesty, and as good as all these guys that you named are, um, they have to win again. I mean, Madden is it's not, and just like most things in life, it's what have you done for me, lately? What have
Mm-hmm.
you done today? So yeah, yes, you won a championship. Yes, you have done it before, but yeah, memories are kind of short in video game and football, especially.
Mm-hmm.
If a guy's getting good at a particular year, especially this year, how much the game has changed, and Lawyer Killer's place and even Haas's place. I mean, if you haven't won in this cycle, then maybe you were a champion of Madden 19 or 18,
Yeah.
but are you going to be a champion now? And this, of course, is coming from a guy that made the playoffs once.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. I think Meats made the comment. He's like, I just want to win a championship and then just relax while I'm here, type of thing after
No,
that point. And it's like, Meats, you know what? You can win one, and then 5 seasons from now, people are going to forget about that and
yes,
call you a one shot wonder. So it is a what did you do for me lately type of league. And
yes.
so,
And
yeah, I agree.
hey, everybody wants to be like the GOAT, man. You want to win 14 of these things,
Yeah,
bro.
yes, sir. Not
At
everybody can
least.
do it. At least we want 20. So, uh, speaking of GOAT and guys who live up to expectations, there's some guys who don't live up to expectation. Have you seen anybody kind of halfway as we hit the halfway point through this
Yeah,
season that
yeah.
have?
Like I as I did before, I'll touch on myself first. Man, I've been fucking sucking. Hey, it is what it is. I've been sucking. We got some information on that a little bit later about just how much I have been sucking. And but besides me, Gap Mac, man, I know he's a better player than that. He's always been a a mid range player, and I know he's in the Raiders conspiracy group that the game's out to get him. But I don't think that's it. But the biggest surprise for me, and totally absolute biggest surprise, is Tiny Titans. Tiny Titans is not an 0-9 player.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he's 0-9 right now is a bit surprising. And I also like to throw in my boy Chris and Kills. The Steelers is what he is right now. He's 3-5. I think he's just no, it's Christian, isn't it? The Christian guy,
John Christman, yes.
John Christian. Yes, and he was a pretty good player in the primer, and he moved over to the SML and has not done very well.
Yeah, that's a tough division. You got Woods, you got Ravens. My pick is got to be Noel Overlord.
Oh
He's
yes,
2-7 right now. Last season he beat Gov. He went to the playoffs. This year, nowhere near the same success. Oh, I do want to welcome. He has a new member to his family. Congrats on that. Congrats on
yes,
the baby.
congratulations.
That's pretty cool. But
Welcome to my world.
and that might be what's impacting his play. Maybe some late nights coming up here. So maybe next season he'll get it back together.
Hey, brother, it's hard to play with a baby curdled in one arm and trying to hold a controller with the other one. So I've done it before.
So
So
yeah,
I
it's
feel it.
he's feeding him or her some milk as he's doing it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And also, yeah, Tiny Titans, that's a good one. I did a SML to breakdown, that's a plug, on Tiny Titan,
Yes.
released on
Mhm.
Friday. And he is not a 0-9 player, like you said. He is a very strong user, and he's overall a decent player. So I'd expect him to be in the thick of things for playoff contention, not the first pick.
Yes,
So,
yes, 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 yes.
but
Yes. So let's get to the meat of this situation
yes,
here.
yes. So I played this. I played this for ZZ, or I sent him the file. We have a guy named the SML Anonymous Personality, and I asked him who's the worst player in the SML, and this is what he had to say.
ZZ the Great has been playing terrible this season. He could have easily beat the Falcons, but he choked when it mattered the most. Pretty soon, ZZ the Great will have to change his PlayStation name to ZZ the Terrible. Also, the Raiders will now be ranked higher than him in almost all power rankings going forward.
All right, so that was
Now,
obviously a jab on ZZ the Great. ZZ, what is your
yes.
rebuttal to this?
Man, you know what? I can't really rebut too much, bro, because I'm fucking sucking. And if I wasn't sucking right now, I'd be all over this guy. I'd be at his throat. And I'd be like, why you hiding yourself, bro? Come on out at me. Show me, tell me I'm bad. Play me. You know what I'm saying? But right now, dude, I've been fucking sucking. I've been sucking mainly because I've been having some I've been doing some extra stuff on the side that I need to, I've been trying to build up some money, and even doing that I've been having to do house renovations. I'm taking care of a lot of stuff my wife has been wanting to get taken care of pretty much since we moved in. My house is 6-7 years old, so it was time for some touch-up work and that kind of stuff. So and as everybody knows, if anybody who here knows ZZ, I play a lot of games. I know that's not an excuse because freaking Yoshi plays like every fucking game there is, and he's fucking awesome at the game. But I just don't play enough Madden, man. Only games I play are my CFM games, are my SML games, and of course with the primary and stuff, it's been it's been a little bit overwhelming, and I haven't been focused as much as I should. But I'm telling y'all, I say it all the time. Whatever, y'all kiss my ass. ZZ coming back. ZZ is not a quitter. I'm never leaving the SML for one thing,
Yes.
and I'm coming back, and I'm gonna work hard at this, and I'm not gonna be the fucking loser. This anonymous guy, he's got to talk about somebody else.
Let's go. And you know what? I like this anonymous personality because no punches pulled. I hope you like the voice editing. He's completely top.
Yes.
You don't know who he
Hey,
is. Like that's
no,
the
no.
beauty of it. Like you don't know who he is.
I got a few guesses, but I really can't tell you honestly that I do know who he is. But I can tell you he's not fucking wrong.
He's calculated. He said Raider fan is no longer the worst.
Wow.
So
Wow, man, let's go.
it's interesting. It's interesting. Switching gears though to a more serious topic. It
Yes.
got brought up in chat. I like doing this every so often, kind of getting a little deeper in the thought process on Total Access. Is minority coaches, and it was brought up that about the Rooney Rule. So basically, the Rooney Rule is a rule that states when a team has a vacant spot for head coaching, they have to hire or not hire. They have to interview at least one coach of color or basically a minority coach. Because the problem was
Mhm.
before they just hired a bunch of white coaches and they didn't give any African American or
Yeah.
minority coaches a chance. So, what's your thoughts on that? Somebody had posted in chat, um, basically like, well, there's like two sides to it. One had said it's a waste of time for the minority coach if he's just going to get pulled in just to satisfy the rule. But then someone
Yeah.
else had said, well, the Rooney Rule actually works because it's actually helped out hire some guys who weren't initially going to get the job. So, what do you think about the
Yeah.
Rooney Rule and the whole minority coach situation?
It's what it boils down to is okay, the Rooney Rule, it doesn't really work. First of all, because I mean we're not seeing a lot of extra minority coaches in NFL football, and I've looked into this a little bit, and I was watching ESPN, and they were talking about how Coach Tomlin got hired, and how they looked at the owner looked at what he wanted in a coach. He displayed all these particular talents that he wanted out of his coach, all these different elements that he wanted in a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he did this without interviewing. And turns out Coach Tomlin was the perfect match for this, right? And that's how they ended up with this great coach that did these great things. So to say that there aren't enough minority coaches that can fit the bill, I think that's totally false, because we all know that football is mainly a minority sport. I
Right.
mean, it's always. I mean, not always has been, but
Well,
in recent years,
whites are in the minority in
yeah,
NFL.
in
Just being
in
blunt.
the NFL, yeah, right. So there are a lot of great-minded football coaches out there, man. And if you look at some of these, most of these high schools and all that stuff, a lot of these coaches are minority, man. All these guys come up and stuff until the firewall seems to happen at the college level, and I think that has a little bit to do. I mean, it's similar to affirmative action and that kind of thing. We don't want to get into politics and all that kind of stuff. But if you set in rules just to say, oh, you have to interview a certain amount of people, or and I'm not saying, hey, make these guys hire coaches, because that's not going to solve anything either. What you got to do is just honestly look at your field of candidates, look at their talents, look at what they're going to bring to the table, and pick the best guy for the job.
Yeah. I almost. So, do you think it's racism, or what do you think it is, and why?
Yeah, we know it's racism, Prime. It is, because it's just old white guys, man. It's the reason why they wouldn't let Puff or Jay-Z on a team. It's the same thing. It's a group of guys that have always been in a position of power. And listen, I'm not saying. Look, some of the best people in the world are white people to me. You're one of my best friends right now,
Mm-hmm.
and like I talk and like I talk the barbershop talk thing all the time. We have this arguments about certain stuff, and I'd be like, man, dude, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for good, honest, well-meaning white people that actually helped us in the civil rights movement to get rights. We would never had them if it wasn't for good people. So there are good people out there.
Yeah.
There are good, well-meaning people, but I think in the upper echelon, there are people that want to be able to sit at owners' meetings and to talk freely without having to feel a certain way when you have a minority in the room with you. Because I don't know if, I mean, I know you're not minority, but the feeling that you get, and I'm sure some of my minority brothers and sisters, the Hispanics, whatever, that's out there can understand that when you're at a meeting or you're at a dinner with like the bosses or some of your other peers, and everybody else is white and you're the only minority, it's like they placate to you just because they know that you're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this is that thing where we talked about before about feeling equal or feeling inadequate,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't feel like you're you're a part of the group, because they feel like they gotta do extra stuff to make you feel that way, and that comes off as a bit irritating as well.
Yeah, I can see your point with that, especially sometimes cater to maybe, or I don't know, like they
Yeah,
just want to go. They want
the
to be.
extra mile.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I love Tiger Woods and
Right.
bringing
Right.
up the fact,
Right.
dude.
No, you're right. But in the sense of uh, racism, I'm gonna disagree with you to a point where I feel like I feel like that kind of it had to have died down. The first African American coach to win a Super Bowl is Tony Dungy. I would know that because I'm a Colts fan. You
Yes,
might know that
yeah,
as well, obviously.
I know that as well.
So
Tony Dungy is a very big advocate of what we're talking about now. He's kind of like heading up this movement.
yeah, and great guy, great role model, I think, Tony Dungy. And then you have coaches like Lovie Smith, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tomlin's paved the way. Even after Dungy, the Colts hired Jim Caldwell,
Yes.
obviously another African American head coach. And I feel like teams, right off the bat, right as soon as they fire their coach, they so happen to have a guy they just really want. Like it
Yeah.
leaks. And for example, the Browns, it seems like it's been McDaniels since like halfway through the season, like Josh McDaniels. So I still feel like, and there might be I mean, I don't know what every owner thinks. I mean, you
Let,
have, go on.
let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Out of all the owners in the NFL,
Yeah.
do you believe that each and every single one of these guys are not hiring a particular coach of color based on anything other than their resume? Do you
Uh,
really truly believe
no,
that?
no, I don't believe that. And I think that a lot of it is whether it's connections or ties. But I do still feel like at this point, race isn't as big of an issue as it was even 15, 20 years ago, uh, or even 10 years ago
Oh,
in hiring. Because, I mean, look, I mean, there are racist owners. Look at Donald Sterling, the Clippers owner.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, yeah,
exactly.
he's
He's
racist.
a
So,
dick.
so he was a dick. He's just garbage. And so
Yeah,
I'm not saying there isn't racist owners, but there's also 32 teams in the NFL, which is a very, very small sample size to go off of. I mean, you're talking
yes,
the elite of the elite. And when you're talking minority, you're taking a very small number, meaning minority means small, and already a
true.
small sample size. And it just so happens to play out that way, I think. I mean, look, the NFL is 60, 70% African American. It's a minority league, so they're not afraid of having uh, black players, or so I don't.
Yeah, it's a lot easier when you're talking about
So
we're talking about a totally different
well,
thing.
you
We're
said
talking
win.
about
You said winning,
a
right?
job.
Well,
Yes, yes.
a head coach plays just as big as role in winning as a
Yeah,
quarterback. We've seen that with
true that.
Brady. We've seen that with
True
Brady and
that.
Belichick. So,
Yeah,
uh,
but I think you can win with great players and a shitty coach.
and that's a
Um,
debate we've had before with
yes, I know.
and I've
I
agreed
know.
with you. I would take a Tom Brady over a Bill Belichick.
Any day, any
And
day,
but there are some
any
people
day.
who would take a Bill Belichick over Tom Brady. So I
And maybe this thing is just like you said. I mean, it could be coincidental, and it could be a time thing that's catching up
it could be a little
because,
bit of both too.
as we see, the quarterback situation has changed big time.
Hmm.
Because I mean, look at some of the top quarterbacks in the league right now, and they are minority players.
I do think it's now that you did do you brought up something I do want to talk about. When we talk
Yes.
about quarterbacks, I feel like that's a bigger thing than coaches, believe it or not. And I feel like
Yeah.
the stigma of a African American quarterback is bigger than the stigma of an African American coach, because I just that's what I feel like. I feel like it gets brought up all the time. Like when you talk about Lamar Jackson or somebody like that, he's always
Yeah.
always constantly compared to a black quarterback, or a Jacoby
Yeah.
Brissett. He's a poor man's Donovan McNabb. Like why is that
Yeah.
like that? You know, and then with coaching,
Russell Wilson,
right,
we got
right,
Watson. Russell, I mean, it's tons of them.
right.
Jimmy Garoppolo, and I mean, isn't Jimmy Garoppolo Hispanic?
Yeah, I think he's
Yeah,
Hispanic or
yeah, yeah,
Italian
yeah,
or
yeah,
something, Italian or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. So the landscape is changing in that regard.
So yeah, I think it's changing. I think in a positive direction. The coaching, I've read that it's actually going down.
Now,
I, so
and look, I'm a guy. I want more white players in the league, bro. I think there's great. There's great white athletes,
yeah,
and I love the white receiver thing, and I root for those guys. And
yeah.
fucking Christian McCaffrey, like one of the best fucking running backs in the game right now. So, I mean, I root for that. It's just I don't know with hiring and interviewing, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean
I think we would have seen more black coaches by now
you
if it wasn't some kind of,
and
you know.
you could be right. You could be right. It's interesting because a lot of these owners, we don't know what they actually
Yeah,
think or what their intentions are.
exactly.
But I still
Well, okay.
believe. Oh, go on.
Yeah, no. Because I know we got to wrap this thing up. But
Yeah.
why do you think that they not like they didn't let? I mean, and I understand like some of these guys' history aren't the same, but like Puffy wanted to purchase a team, and there has been white guys that have been denied,
Right.
you know, the ability to purchase a team. But why do you think that they're not letting them into that
Well,
circle? That
John
group?
Bon Jovi wanted to purchase the Buffalo Bills and he got denied.
Yeah,
So I mean, I think
true.
it's so.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. The NFL is very weird. I don't know, but I still think at the end, and this is my opinion, at the end of the day, if an owner sees a African American or minority coach who is capable of getting his team wins, because wins equals money, he's more likely to hire him, because that same guy has 70% of his team that is a minority, and that equals wins as well. And that's what I think.
And
But
I think
I
that
don't
would
know.
be awesome.
But
I
yeah,
mean, and listen. I hope that's the honest
it
to
might
God's
not
truth.
be.
I
Yeah.
really, I'm an optimist here. Always.
Maybe I'm using my thought process, and maybe I'm being naive to what
No,
some
no, no,
people
no,
actually.
no.
You know what I'm
It's
saying?
it's views from two different perspectives,
Right.
and we could both be dead ass wrong,
Yeah.
dead ass right.
Or be it right in the middle. Maybe it's somewhere between the middle of us both. Who knows?
Yes,
But
yes,
I think
yes.
it's healthy to have both sides and not just one thought there.
I
So
know you got to go to church real quick.
yes.
You want to get cable cutting thing real quick?
Yeah. Let's talk about the cable cutting thing real quick. You cut cable? You got Dish Network? That's barbershop talk, real quick. In 2 minutes,
No,
what's your thoughts on cable cutting?
cable cutting, man. I use Xfinity. I get 1 gig down. So if y'all want me to host, I'll host. Whatever. I got pretty good. I got pretty good cable. But no, I don't deal with AT&T, Dish Network, any of those. I understand some of the guys that have to because of where they live, and they might not be on the grid. And from what I understand, if you're not on the actual grid, you can't get the full service because usually they have to tie a line to where you're at, and then a bunch of people have to split that that cable line. So I understand the guys that do use it, but if you don't have to, man, get the hell away from AT&T or Dish.
Yeah, just real quick, my thoughts is I think the next 5 years, the whole Dish Network, cable, satellite TV needs to make a big reform. Maybe pick your own channels because people pay X amount of dollars for 1,000 channels and they only watch 5.
Yes.
Something like that needs to change.
Well, PlayStation does that now. There are a couple other services that are doing it, Sling and that kind of thing. So I think, especially with Netflix and the other stuff, that's gonna have to change.
So, yep, we'll see. The future's changing. Hopefully, we didn't offend anybody. This is just our opinions on some certain topics here.
Oh no, dude, we kept it light. It's reasonable conversation.
So
If you can't talk reasonably about some of this stuff, then hey,
yeah.
It is what it is. Oh, but doing this cable cutting thing, are we gonna talk about that Meats pulled the plug on you like 3 times?
Yeah, Meats pulled the plug, but don't worry, Meats. We know what's going to happen come playoff time. I'll say it right here. Meats, if you play me in the playoffs, I guarantee you win. Bam. So that's how we're doing the podcast.
That's it.
So, guys, thanks for listening. This is SML Total Access, the place to be. And you guys take it easy.
All right.